Good afternoon. My name is May Sebel. It is March 8th, 2020, and I am interviewing Yvonne Dickter for the One Story at a Time project, Viva, Shalom, celebrating Latin American Jews in Dallas. Good afternoon, Yvonne.
Good afternoon.
Will you please tell us where you are from originally?
Costa Rica.
Okay. Talk about your family life in Costa Rica.
I have a lot of family down there from my mother's side. She has 3 sisters and 1 brother. They were 10 and 2 brothers actually. We live in San Jose, and my uncle Tío Jose in Cartago, and Tío Luis and Tía Torcha in Cartago. 5 of my mom's sisters and brothers, they were killed in the Holocaust, and my grandma too. So, and then later on, my father had a brother who emigrated from Israel to Costa Rica. So we were a close, tight family. We enjoyed visiting them.
And so tell me what your life was like in Costa Rica.
Very nice, very nice people down there. You didn't feel any anti-Semitism. Very welcoming, very nice. I miss that.
And tell me how involved you were with Jewish life in San Jose.
I left the country when I was 17. I went to Mexico to the university, and then the first week I arrived there, I met my future husband. And what can I tell you? We have a nice Jewish life. There is a synagogue, well now there are more than 1. And all the girls and boys, we got together, we have reunions, and we met at the park, or we met at different places. Very, very nice.
So there were a lot of activities for young Jewish people?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what about you were talking about, was it your father's family that lost so many in the Holocaust?
My mother's
Your mother's.
family.
And what about your father's family? Tell me about them.
My father's family lives in Israel before the 48 war. They are pioneers. And the only one that didn't live with them was my father. He was for a time living in France and then in Belgium, and finally he came to Costa Rica because a good friend of him told him, "Come, you will like it." And in fact, he did like it.
And what kind of work did he do in Costa Rica?
He had a dry goods store in San Jose, but before he was living in San Jose, they were living in outside the main city called Turrialba, smaller town, and then he had also a small business there.
Okay. And what brought you to the United States?
I married in Mexico, like I was telling you, and in that year the situation in Mexico started to be not too safe. There was a devaluation, and many Jewish people didn't feel, like secure. They were afraid of what's going to happen. So my husband said, let's go out from here. And we have been to Dallas. Dallas was smaller, nice city, booming, and I have my brother in here.
And how long ago was that you moved here?
In 78,
Oh,
1978.
Long time. Was it an adjustment to be in the United States?
Yes, but I do like it. It's different.
What did you find that was difficult in the transition?
And the translation,
Yeah.
actually, I didn't. We had a little problem with the papers. So for 5 years, we could not leave the country. We could not travel anywhere. In the embassy, in the American embassy in Mexico, they sold our numbers. You get a number to go out as a, come to living here in America. And each time that my husband called to find out if the papers were ready, they would say, not yet, not yet, not yet. Before we left the country, I asked to the consul, the school has already started. My children didn't speak English. So I said, I don't want to be late. Can we leave? Yes, go and leave. In 2 weeks, you'll have your papers. That didn't happen until 5 years later.
What reason were they giving you for holding up your papers?
They did not give me a reason, but when I had to sign for the papers, I put, where do you live? I live in Dallas, Texas. No. Again, where do you live? I write Dallas, Texas. No. I say, then what do you want me to say? Mexico? Yes. That was so weird.
And then they gave you the papers to be here?
Like it didn't count those 5 years.
So that must have been a difficult time to have to worry about that.
Oh, yes. All my neighbors, when we lived, they got together. They wrote a letter. They went to the government and they told them, what a nice family. My husband had a hardware store. He's providing jobs. The kids are going to school. And I am at home, you know. Why are you not giving them the papers? They are not doing anything wrong. It took 5 years.
Did that help when the neighbors got together and wrote the letters for you?
At least no, it did not. At one point they were deporting us. But my husband told, I'm not leaving. He could stay, but we had to leave. And he said, I'm not leaving. I'm not letting my wife go. So that was it. When they start moving my neighbors more. I went to see a lawyer and he told me, don't be afraid. They won't stop you in the streets. You are Caucasian. I'm white.
That must have been very frightening to think that you might be deported.
And then one day, in my husband's business, many people come in, and there was this man that speaks Spanish and became friendly with my husband, and my husband saw him on TV with the president. And then he asked you, what are you doing, you know, why? And he told him that he works in the government, and if he not for that man who say, can I use your phone? And he called directly and asked what's happening with the papers from the Dicters. Blah, blah, blah. A few days after, they call us from the embassy, come to pick your papers.
Well, that was lucky that he happened to walk into your husband's store. What a story.
Yes.
How old were your children when you moved here? They were just beginning school?
They were, my daughter was 15
Oh.
and my son was 13.
How was the adjustment for them to be here?
Oh, they are just wonderful. They just didn't, especially my son, he said, we are in prison. They don't let us go out. He wants to see his friends. But other than that, they adjusted perfectly.
And did it take them very long to learn English?
No.
Because children learn very quickly. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it didn't. And then they were, when the BBYO, one was a nun, one was a, you know,
So they were very active in Jewish
Very
life
active.
here.
always,
Uh-huh.
and they still are.
Uh-huh.
And I have 3 granddaughters
Oh,
from my son. Also very active.
do they live here?
They do. The oldest one is in Miami. She's working with the WITSO in Miami.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What else can you share about your family, your history?
I have been many times to Israel and I visit all my uncles and cousins and we keep in touch. My family from Costa Rica, all my uncles and my aunts and my father and my mother passed away. I still have one cousin with his children and one cousin, a widow from one of my cousins. I have another cousin who lives in Washington, D.C. He was ambassador from Costa Rica in Washington some years ago. And what else can I tell you?
And are you involved in the Jewish community here?
Yes, not
Mhm.
much lately, but I am.
That's good. And what about, do your children live here?
Yes,
Dallas?
they live in here, in Plano.
So you have your grandchildren here?
2 of them, one is in Miami.
Okay. How old are they?
Oh, 25 is the oldest.
Oh.
Yes. 3 years apart, each one.
Very nice.
And what else? Dallas, other than that, is a very welcoming place. I had a lot of friends, very welcoming. I have all the family block. Rebecca Claver took me to Skaggs, told me what to buy. I still buy today Lando Lake's butter because she told me. And then my friend Shula lives in La Vie. She was afraid to drive in highways, so I will drive her where she needed to go. We enjoy. And Maliet Wallens, very dear friend of mine who passed away, and I miss her. And Howard Stern too. Very nice.
Good. Well, thank you very much for telling us your story. We
You're
appreciate it.